guys, for this recipe, all the ingredients will be listed in the comment sections below, in the description below, so you don't have to worry about writing this down. But we have all-purpose flour, and we're doing a double pie crust, so this is actually double recipe. So the recipe you see is for one single pie crust. This is a double. So in this bowl is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. And then we have a half a teaspoon of salt. And then we have 2/3 cup of vegetable shortening. And then in this bowl we have an ice cube with about a half a cup of water. And about a half a teaspoon of cider vinegar. And this will be our binding agent. So we're just going to mix this in a medium-sized bowl. Here's our medium-sized bowl. So Mercy is going to go ahead and take the flour from this bowl back here, and she's going to dump it in the glass bowl. And then to that, she's going to add the vegetable shortening. And we're just going to add that in there. And then we're going to mix that until it looks like little pea size. Little pea sizes. So basically what she's doing is she's cutting the vegetable shortening into the flour, and what this is going to do is make the little pillows of fat in the flour, and that's what makes our pie crust very flaky. And halfway through that, we're going to go ahead and just sprinkle lightly our salt over the top here, and that will get mixed in. I know some people say use butter in your pie crust, but it really does not increase the flavor at all. Pie crust is basically just what it is. It's just holding good filling in. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take this, and some people will say you need to do this with a pastry blender. For the pie crust we're making, it's not necessary. So all we're doing is looking to make this. So if we look at this, we'll see that kind of resembles little tiny peas. What we're going to do now is she's just going to add in 3 tablespoons of water into the mixture just to see if that's enough to bring the dough together, because we don't really want to have it too wet and we don't want to have it too dry. So I just want to put enough water in there to pull this all together, and we don't want to overmix it, because if we overmix it, then it will be a tough pastry. A little bit more. Just depends on where you're at, what type of day it is, how dry your flour is will determine how much water actually has to be mixed into the dough. I don't refrigerate my dough. When you use vegetable shortening like this in cold water, it pulls itself together, and there's no need to refrigerate your dough. If I just take, what I do is, I've got just a little container of flour here. I put a little bit on my hands, and then I just try to pull this together just to form pastry dough. I think it needs just a little tiny bit more water. Let's go ahead and, yeah. So what we're going to do now is that we have our pastry ball put together here. We're going to get as much of it here as we can. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take just some regular flour, and we're going to put it on the counter like this. Our space. Then we're going to put our pastry ball crust right in the middle. Flour that. And see how this is breaking apart? That's what you want. That's what makes a nice light dough. Then we're going to take our rolling pin, put some flour on it, and we're going to slowly and gently roll out our dough. To about that size. Since this is for two pie crusts, we want one for the bottom, one for the top. So what I'm going to do is just basically take a third of this, a third of that, and I'll make that one into a ball and set that aside, and then pull this back together. And we'll go ahead and pull that together. And then we're going to roll this out. This will be for the bottom pie. Put a little bit of pressure on that. Not too much, you don't want to tear it. The key is you want to make sure you have enough flour on the bottom so it doesn't stick. We'll continue to roll this. And if it rips, you literally just take and put it back together like this, and push it down, and it will reseal itself. This is a very, very delicate pie crust. And you can look, if you look and see, you'll be able to see all the little fat that's been put in there. Basically, so I'm going to make a dish about this big. So you just want to make sure that it fits about an inch, inch and a half on the outside of that. When you have it about that size, that is correct. So to get this into our pie pan, it's pretty simple. We literally just take our dough, wrap it very gently around our rolling pin. Then we take our pie crust, bring it up, and then we unroll him. And then what we're going to do is just lift this up and gently allow this to just fall down inside of our pie. Just like that. And make sure you get it in all the little corners. You just lift up, tuck and push. And you have a little hole. There, you just pinch it together. So then what you do from this point is, if you're making a pie that needs to be baked with the ingredients inside of it, then you would just put your filling in, put your other crust on top of it, and then bake it at 375 degrees. And if you're making a crust that gets filled, that needs pre-baked, then you just take a fork and you would prick holes all around the bottom, all around the sides, and then bake that at 375 until it's golden brown. Then you'd fill your pie shell and it's ready to go. So that, guys, is how easy it is to make a homemade pie crust from scratch. Hope you guys enjoy this.